This
giving me
conference
this
will now be
opportunity to
recorded.
present here. And thanks for the quick introduction. So I will not introduce myself once again, so I will directly jump into the presentation. So good afternoon all, and welcome you to this webinar on career in e-learning industries. The agenda that we are going to cover today is what is e-learning industry, the job opportunities in e-learning industry, and the skills required to get a job in e-learning. There are two main industries that use the e-learning to its maximum extent. The first one is the education sector, and second one is the corporate sector. In school, colleges, and institutions, the training happens in classroom, which is also called as face-to-face training or classroom-based training. In recent times, we are coming across the word smart classes in education institutions. Smart classes is a solution designed to help teachers in meeting with new challenges and developing students' ability and performance. It helps the teachers to access multimedia content and information that they can use for teaching students more effectively. Similarly, in corporate world, they use the online method for training the staff, which is also called as, previously it was called as web-based training or computer-based training. It has now evolved and it is called as e-learning or online courses. Let us look at different methods of training. The online training can be categorized in three forms. So in this presentation, we are only talking about the online training. We are not discussing about the classroom or face-to-face training. So the online training can be categorized in three forms. The first is synchronous, asynchronous, and then blended learning. Synchronous learning is a form of online learning that occurs when learner and instructor are interacting at the same time, typically through a distance learning technology such as video conferencing. So right now we are doing a webinar where everybody is present. So this is also called as synchronous training. Only difference is this is not a training, it's a webinar. So the condition is both the participant as well as the trainer should be available at same time in a virtual environment. Whereas in asynchronous training, which is also known as self-paced training, it doesn't require a student and instructor to be online or in present at a time. This technology allows instructional designers to create courses that participants can go through on their own time without any help of instructor. So there is no need of instructor on teaching a topic. So it becomes completely independent. The user can directly open the course, they can go through the content, and at the end, by the end of the course, the learner will uh, get the knowledge or understand the topic without the help of any instructor. So that is called as asynchronous. The third one is blended learning. This is a combination of synchronous and asynchronous. So some content will be covered in the form of online, and some content will be covered in the form of classroom or face-to-face training. Now let's look at types of training. When we say e-learning, it looks very like just one word, online, something which you teach online. So that's it. That's the end of online e-learning. But it's not the reality. When we dive into the e-learning breakup, we find that there are a lot of different type of trainings. So I have listed 5 types of training which are highly used in the corporate world. The first one is technical or technology training. Depending on the type of job, technical training is required. So technical training is a training meant to teach the new employees about the technology aspects of the job. So for example, in retail industry, technical training might include teaching someone on how to use a computer or how to call up a customer. Whereas in sales training, it might include someone on how to use use customer relationship management. So it's a portal where there'll be plenty of features. So teaching a portal can also be a technology training. So mostly it will deal with the product training or application based training. So to elaborate more, I can give one example. In our office, we use a HR portal in which everyone in my company will enter their everyday activity when they leave the company at the end of the day. So before going, they need to enter what project they have done or how much time they have spent and all those activities throughout the 8 hours. So when a new person join our company, he don't know the HR system. HR system is already a complicated system. So if I just say, okay, this is the HR system, you enter your details here, so it will be a confusion for the person. So we create an application training where it will teach the learner on how to use a particular system, whether it is a complex system or a simple system. It's everything is automated. So that's called as technical training or technology related training. The second one is the skills training. Skills training is designed to provide employees with a targeted training that they need to gain the knowledge and ability necessary to fulfill the specific requirement of their job position. Skill training can also be re-education or retrain employees whenever new technology, processes, or systems come up. So for an example, when we try to hire freshers, it's not that every time we need to hire freshers, we need to hire experienced people and some as freshers. So what we find is when we take new people, they don't know anything about the tools that we are using. We use very different tools that we are going to cover in the next slides. So what tools we are using, they are not aware, but they know certain tools which is a supporting thing like Photoshop, Illustrator. If somebody know these tools, then we can train them on e-learning tools. So when we hire new freshers, so we need to first train them on certain applications, then they can come into the project. So this is called as skill based training, where we are training on certain skills so that a person can perform the job properly. The next one is the soft skill training. Once the newly joined person becomes a part of the company, they should have proper skills to communicate well with the other team members. So courses like communication skills, problem solving, leadership, teamwork, emotional intelligence, work ethics, these kind of courses will help them to gain the soft skills. So person has joined a company, they have learned skills. Now they should be able to communicate with the team properly so that they sync in the company. So for these kind of trainings, we use soft skills training. The next one is professional or also called as legal training. In some jobs, professional training must be done on ongoing basis. Professional training is a type of training required to be up to date. For example, tax laws change often. As a result, the legal team should receive training when rules are changed. The last one is the safety training. Safety training is a type of training that occurs to ensure employees are protected from injuries caused by work-related accidents. Safety training is especially important for organizations that use chemical or other types of harmful material in their production. Safety training can also include evacuation plan and fire drills. Especially in the corporate world, when a new person joins the company, they have to go through a fire safety course to ensure that they are aware of evacuation plan in case of emergency. So these are some of the highly used training. There are also other type of training. If you can just Google and see different type of training or different type of e-learning, then you can find a big list. So I have pulled out few areas just to show you that how effective the training, the e-learning is used in the corporate world. So I hope this gives you an idea that every department and every job role has a specific type of training, and it requires e-learning. So that open up the scope of e-learning. Next, we will look at the benefits. So the first question that we really need to ask is, do we really need to go for e-learning, or can classroom training will do the job? Because classroom training is something which is happening from years and years, and suddenly some e-learning is coming up and it says, okay, we don't need e-learning and now we can go for e-learning. So that's a difficult question. So we need to analyze what are the benefits and problem that we can face. So I have again pulled out four very important benefits. There are plenty of benefits with the e-learning, but I have taken only four because of time constraint. The first one is the training repository. This is from a company point of view. The company can empower employees by creating clickable course map and online training repository. This way, they have the ability to piece together personalized online training path that improve core proficiency. In every company there will be different job roles. So from an organization point of view, what I can do is, if somebody is a newly joined, I can say that this person should undergo the training of safety, then induction, then maybe some compliance. And if he is a project manager, then he should go through certain different type of training like PMP. So in the learning management system, from a company point of view, I can have a central repository where I can keep all these trainings at one place and define a learning path, so that based on a particular role, the person can take all the courses which is necessary for his or her role. So that's first very important reason for going for e-learning. Second is standardization in the training. Like every faculty will have a different style of teaching. Sometimes if they're in good mood, they will teach you in elaborated form. If they are in hurry up, then and the training will be different. So in every class, the level of training will be different. Whereas e-learning will bring a consistency in the training. So all if there are 100 users, then all the 100 users will get a consistent output in the training. So bringing consistency in the training is can be doable by e-learning. The next one is employee tracking, employee training track. If you don't know whether a staff or an employee is getting trained or what skills he's achieving, then it's difficult for the HR person to appraise the person or move him to the next role. So this particular system will tell the HR person that this particular person is skilled in so many things, or he can be promoted, or certain person need certain kind of training. Or if somebody is assigned some courses and they are not completed the courses, then e-learning system will pull out those users and tell the HR that these people are not focusing on the training. So this makes entire system easy for the HR managers to make sure the training happens effectively. And the last benefit, last reason for going for e-learning is low training cost. In the face-to-face training, we need an instructor, and he should be available whenever there is a training. And if there is a travel required, then then there is a cost of travel, accommodation, and everything. Whereas in e-learning, it is one-time investment. The course is developed. It is online. A person from any part of the country can access the course. So these are some of the benefits because of which the corporate industry is moving more towards e-learning. Now, the important question is what are the opportunities in the e-learning industry? Here, I have mixed my personal experience when I started e-learning and the different opportunities that you can find in the e-learning industry. Uh, in the e-learning development process, it is not just a single person who will take care of everything from start to end. So there are multiple roles involved based on the areas of expertise. So let's look at each role, and based on your interest, you can decide which area you want to select. In this, when I started my career in e-learning, even I didn't have any idea about the e-learning industry. As everyone, I was also excited to get a job, and in that preparation, I joined a computer institute and learned C and C++ languages. and unfortunately both the languages are not related anywhere to e-learning. Then out of curiosity I started learning Photoshop and Adobe Flash on my own. One day I stumbled upon a job posting for Flash developer. With this basic knowledge about Flash, I attended the interview and I luckily got selected. From there, my journey in the e-learning industry started. So the first step or first thing that you should learn in the e-learning is graphic designing. The role of graphic designer is to develop engaging and standardized visual presentation of content. It is not just branding, but also about enabling learning. Now, since e-learning is not having a PowerPoint presentation with a lot of content on the screen and user just read that out, so that is not e-learning. That is again more like a book. E-learning is something where you present the things in a professional way, in an interactive and engaging way. Let me try to show you one quick video. Shoaib, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Are you seeing any video, animated video?
I see you have opened
Just
one
to,
website. Some
not sure if the
Yes, yes, we
screen
can
is
see animated.
sharing properly.
Images are running. YouTube video.
Okay, so these are the different layouts. So we are not just putting the content on the screen. We are trying to visualize the content in a way that user don't get bored. The good thing of e-learning is, or the challenging thing of e-learning is, if the user is getting bored at looking at the screen, then the e-learning is a fail. The user should always be attracted, they should be engaged, they shouldn't feel bored. If you give a lot of content on the screen, then within 5 minutes they will say this is not a good course, and or maybe they will not show interest in going through the course. So presenting the content in an effective way is the primary job of a graphic designer. So that was the first place. Sorry, somebody is trying to say something. So that's the first step, that is learning graphic designing. And for learning graphic designing, you need to start from Photoshop or Illustrator tools. Then again, as I said, I'm mixing my personal experience with the different roles. So once I started my job in the company, after 4 months, there was a project which required programming skills. In I was using Flash at that time. So in Flash we use action scripting, which is very similar to C language. So my investment of learning C and C++ languages gave me a breakthrough. After successfully completing that programming project, I was promoted into the programming department. So if you have programming knowledge in HTML5 or in JavaScript, then you can find good opportunities in e-learning. Whereas if you have maybe Python or COBOL, so that's not the languages that are used in e-learning. That is more into the mobile app or software development services. Whereas in e-learning, HTML5 and JavaScript are the two languages that are highly used in e-learning designing. So that's the second area where you can find some good jobs. The next thing is quality assurance. Delivering a quality product is the most critical area, because many times it happens that because of bad quality output, client will be unhappy. For example, the instructional designers are making good storyboard and the graphic designers are developing the courses. But if the graphic designer is unable to understand the instructions of storyboard and they develop something, and finally there will be a lot of bugs in the course. So here the quality assurance person will ensure that online courses are delivered error free. They play the main role to make sure that any error that happens because of misunderstanding or because of miscommunication, that is rectified in the QA process, and a very good product is delivered to the client. So in my previous company, as the company was growing, we found that quality should be maintained to keep the clients happy. I was very quality conscious in my work. Hence, my company promoted me to quality assurance department to bring standardization in the process. So if you feel that you are a quality conscious person, then you can probably explore quality assurance area, and you can find a lot of institutes who provide training on quality assurance. The next area is the instructional designing. So again, in my previous company, by the time I could understand what is instructional designing, it was almost 5 years I spent in that company. So I was promoted into the instructional designer role. I didn't develop the storyboard, but I was involved in how to visualize the content and make it effective and engaging. As I said, e-learning is not just showing some content; it is how you are going to make it effective. So I was in that role now. So a curriculum developer or an instructional designer should be qualified in education design at some level. For this particular role, it is very tough role and demanding role, instructional designing. Until you do certain courses on ID, it will be very difficult for you to get into this job. And especially if your English is not so good, then this job is not a good fit. But if you have a very good command on English, then I would recommend that go for instructional designer. The reason is, in Western world already the e-learning has gone to the maximum extent. Every company use e-learning as a training tool, whereas in India the e-learning has started maybe from last 2 years. I could see a trend that a lot of companies, small companies, they have started um, using the e-learning. So if you are good in English, then I would recommend that you should go for instructional designer role. There will be again a lot of courses available on the internet, and but I don't think there are any institutions who provide the instruction designing training. So probably you can go for online training. You can find a lot of courses on ID. So just do a course and see if you can find some job opportunities. Along with ID, if your English is good, then you can also explore blog writing. The e-learning companies always look for good content writers to promote their services in social media. So that can be another area where you can explore some new opportunities. The next one is the LMS. LMS stand for Learning Management System, and it is the portal where the e-learning courses are hosted and accessed by the learner. So this is the central place where once you develop the e-learning, you need to upload it to a online server. So we called it as Learning Management System. So if you are expertise in PHP or ASP, or even .NET, then probably you can apply for LMS developers. So you can again you can find some jobs in LMS related job posting. So you can try applying over there. Again, you don't need any knowledge about e-learning for this job posting. If you are a good programmer, good coder, then that should be enough. You can easily apply for a job in LMS sector. Then the next one is project management. So after all these phases, graphic designing, programming, quality, now I was promoted to project management. The project manager will oversee the entire project from start to end and ensure that all parties are engaged and communicating properly. This role doesn't require someone to be expertise in e-learning, like similar to LMS. You don't need to be very expert in e-learning, because here you are trying to make a bridge between all the departments. So you don't need to worry about how to design a slide and what is the storyboard or how to sync the audio with the content. So you don't need to worry about that. If you are a good project manager, if you are a good documenter, then you can apply for a project manager role in e-learning companies. The last one is the online marketing. Again, this was a part of my job role. After the project management, I was moved into marketing. In the marketing, I used to work on email marketing, SEO, and social media marketing. Marketing department is very common in all the companies, irrespective of e-learning. So you can join any online marketing course, which will open a lot of job opportunities for you. And I will personally recommend that everyone should join the online marketing course as an extra skill in your profile. This course will teach you how to sell a service or sell a product. And once you expertise in online marketing, you can become an entrepreneur. So starting from a job, you can move into a entrepreneur or a business. That is how I also did. So I started as a multimedia developer, and once I got knowledge on online marketing and how the marketing happens, then I moved into marketing. So after serving for 7 years and acquiring all the necessary skills required in e-learning company, I decided to start my own company. And in the year 2009, I quit the job and established a company with the help of Sudhir Panchmarti, who is my business partner. He operates from Guntur and I operate from Hyderabad. Initially, we faced few challenges. As usual, when you start a new business, there will be some hiccups, challenges, and for almost 10 months, we couldn't earn a single rupee. It was all investing of time and money. But after 10 months, the things started picking up. Presently, we serve corporate companies from countries like Australia, Canada, USA, UK, and Middle East. Presently, we have a team of 60 plus members with three branches, two in Hyderabad and one in Guntur. In 2014, we established an office in Australia with collaboration with an Australian company, and presently we are in the process of setting up an office in Middle East. Unfortunately, the COVID thing started just in February. We were planning to open the office, but because of COVID, we couldn't take that step. So that's my journey and the different opportunities that you can find in e-learning industry. Now, to become a multimedia developer or to take that first step, these are the tools that you should learn. Uh, Photoshop is mandatory. I have not included here. Adobe Photoshop, you have to learn at any cost. Without that, you cannot move forward. The tools that you should expertise before you apply for an e-learning are Adobe Photoshop, then Articulate Storyline, then Adobe Captivate. Lectora and iSpring, these are optional. If you learn, it's okay. If you don't learn, it's still fine. But Storyline and Captivate are the tools which are highly used in the e-learning space. Almost 75% of the e-learning content is developed in Storyline and Captivate. There are other tools like Beyond, Elucidate, Articulate, Rise. They are, but it's minimum. So if you have these two things in your profile, then that should be a good start for you. The next thing is, where do you find the job, which is a very valid question. So if you start from Monster or Naukri.com or some other website where it's a job portal, then you are investing your time at a wrong place. The best place is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is built only for training and training industry. So you will find a lot of job openings over there. So just in LinkedIn, you will have a separate portal for jobs. So explore that. Since LinkedIn is not a part of this webinar, so I'm not talking much about this. You can explore LinkedIn at your own time. So there is a job portal, and using that job portal, you can find jobs related to e-learning. And if you are expertise or if you already know something about e-learning, you want to work from home, then freelancing is also a good option. There is a good website this Odesk. In Odesk, you will find a lot of projects related to e-learning. There are other freelancing website which is again a mixture of actually Odesk is also a mixture of all projects, but e-learning you can find some good projects over there, whereas there are other websites like Guru or freelancers.com. So in that you will not find much of e-learning related projects. The last thing that I would like to share here is we are offering two courses absolutely free of cost. The first one is Articulate Storyline, which is a skill training after which you will be able to develop content using Articulate Storyline tool. And the second one is Job Ready as a soft skills training to make you ready on preparing the resume and tips on how to attend the interview. So with the first course, you will learn what is storyline. We are providing a little advanced training in that one, so you should be good once you complete the storyline training. And with the job ready, it will help you to prepare a good resume, as well as it will make you ready to attend the interview and how to attend the interview. So that's it. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Sayyed Amjad Ali. Very nice session. And now it's open for Q&A. So I request everyone to please utilize this opportunity to utilize the time of the professional who are in very much active in this e-learning field. Ask every kind of question, whatever you have. Just a request, whenever you are done with the question, please mute yourself. Otherwise, it will be a lot of background noise and distraction. So ask your question and after that, just mute yourself. Okay, so it is open for Q&A now. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Afroz here. Okay. Now my question is, as you rightly said, e-learning is a current growing industry, but there is so much of content. Like when we see plural site or LinkedIn courses, YouTube, whatever. What is not? Everything is having a huge of content. Let's say if you wanted to do a course in project management, so there are n number of courses. So in this being having so much content here, so how how we are ensuring that yes, this course is having the right content, whatever services as an e-learning industry which we are providing or we are working for. So how we make sure in market that this is the right course out of so much content which is available over internet.
Thank you for your question, and you have a very valid question. When there is a lot of options to select in the market, then how do we make a decision? So, for example, maybe I will divide your question in two things. The first thing is, suppose I myself want to learn about project management PMP course, and if I go on any content website, uh, then in the search I will find hundreds of courses. Now, which company is providing a quality content? That's a really big question. So here you need to depend on the reviews. So you need to check which course is getting good reviews. If you read the reviews, then you will understand how the other users are satisfied. Are they satisfied with the output? Are they satisfied with the content? And based on that reviews, you can make a decision on whether you want to purchase the course or not. So this is one criteria where you can decide. And second is you can ask for a demo. In the demo, they will probably they will offer a free trial of one or a couple of topics. So you can just quickly go through that, and if you feel that okay, I am able to understand the subject properly, or the instruction designing is good, then based on that you can go ahead and purchase the course. The second thing is in the entire presentation, I have focused only on corporate industries. So if you are a subject matter expert and you want to make content of yours, then that's the first area where suppose if you are an IT guy and you have good skills on uh, certain hardware, so you can easily make a course by learning this storyline, and you can post it on other website where you can sell the courses. Whereas in corporate sector, my main focus is on jobs related thing. So in corporates, the courses whatever they develop, they don't post it offline. So it is completely personalized or customized training.
Yes. Okay. One more question, like out of my curiosity, I'm asking, like being an entrepreneur. So I'd like to ask this question to you because I have been since my childhood, I always imagine like when any lecture is going on. So we have the habit of imagining, right? So we imagine how the things are going on, how it is going to work. So when it is coming to the reality, so no one will understand the same content in a similar way, right?
Yes.
So now the technologies like augmented reality, where we can have the projections online, like in front of us. So, what is your expectations on this technology when it is going to interlink with the e-learning? Because see, even when it is coming to the e-learning, like it's okay if it is any computer science course, but when we look at the e-learning, especially for school children, like school education. So, what I always look at is it would be great if we can correlate these two technologies to deliver the content where people like children can see and they can see the visualizations so that it can understand easily for them. So like my question for you is what is your predictions on this, will e-learning is going to achieve in upcoming years, or how it is going to be? Just a question
Again,
out of
you
my
have a very
curiosity.
valid question. I have an answer for you. The first thing is that depending on what type of product you are developing, the relevant technology will be used. As you have seen in my presentation, we have discussed about a few types of training, like technical training, skills training, and software training. So if you are trying to build a product based training, then you will go for virtual reality. But if it is compliance or induction or something very basic, uh, you will go for e-learning. And the major factor which comes here is the cost. In artificial intelligence, you need to invest huge amount of money, whereas e-learning, that will be uh, maybe a tenth part of what you invest in the artificial intelligence. So to answer your question, it depends on two things. One is whether you want to invest huge amount of money. If yes, go for artificial intelligence. Else, go for e-learning. And not all content can be developed in artificial intelligence. Only product-based event where you can visualize the things. Only those kind of things can be in AR. So e-learning industry will always be there. It will be enhancing certain things. Like even in e-learning, sometimes what happens is when we are developing a very standard e-learning, sometimes we want to include some animation so that we can represent certain concept in an engaging form. So after having few slides, we try to add animation. So later on, it may happen that artificial intelligence can be a part of e-learning. Again, it's my prediction, it's not any authentic data. So if I want to add some interactive elements into this standard e-learning, so I can develop that particular part in artificial intelligence and then embed that part into my e-learning. So e-learning will not disappear, it will be there. Depending on cost and type of product, you need to take your decision. I hope that answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. So I have a question for Amjad sir. First of all, I would like to thank Amjad sir for taking a good session. We are really grateful that expert like you are coming to us and creating awareness in our community. Thank you, sir, for that. I'm Salman. Let me tell you about myself. Like I'm an instructional designer currently working with Amazon. Previously worked with Wipro and other small companies as well. So I've been into this field for 3 to 4 years now, and I have did the PG diploma also from Symbiosis Pune in instructional design. And you were talking about the learning, online learning and all. So I would like to say LinkedIn Learning has very good learning paths for becoming an instructional designer or becoming a developer or project management. So I would like to recommend all the guys over here. You can go to LinkedIn Learning and find the learning paths so that you have the fixed content what to take. You'll have the good idea. The question to Amjad sir is what tips, sir, since you have become an entrepreneur and quite successful. So I would like to know, for the professionals like me who are already into the industry, I wore multiple hats while in the job. I do the graphic design also, and I did LMS administration, setting up the Moodle servers, and do all the storyboarding, instructional design work, and all. So, what tip that you would like to give to become an entrepreneur, especially like the professional like me? What sort of challenges that would be coming up, and what would be the roadblocks, and any professional tips or pro tip that you would like to share? That would be very helpful. And again, thank you so much for all these things.
Thank you. Uh, Again, I can share my personal experience. When I left my job, I was getting a very good salary at that time in 2009, and taking a decision of leaving a good job and doing something where there is no scope, or I don't know what exactly I need to do. That's always a risky thing. So the first step is you need to take the risk. Second thing, what I did at that time was I saved some money for at least to survive for a few months, so that financial pressure is not building on me. So if you have some financial backup, then just take a risk. And before taking a risk, as I said in my presentation, uh, go learn about online marketing. If you don't know how to sell the service or how to market your services, then you be an expert or you have any good product, it's waste. You cannot sell that. So first, learn online. So the steps will be like this. First, go take a course on online marketing, get a good understanding of how it happens. Try to do some trials and see if you are able to communicate with the client and get some business as freelancers or part-time job. If you are able to do that one, then just take a risk, make a financial backup, and quit the job. That's how you can become an entrepreneur. I hope that answer your question.
I had a question, Amjad, regarding these tools that you mentioned, Adobe Activate and Storyline. Are these open source, free tools, or are these paid tools?
They are paid tools. You can download them for 1 month.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'm just like I got disconnected. Uh, yeah. And one more question, like a small question I have, moving forward into this field, I've been into this field for 3 to 4 years. So what should I expect, and how should I move forward? What will be the path that I would be taking, moving forward? If you can shed some light on that.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So I was asking what the career path looks like after like 3 to 4 years into this field. As I said, I'm working now as an instructional designing at Amazon. So what should I expect and what should I look forward to? What kind of roles? Something like in project management, or what kind of roles that you would like me to look upon moving forward into the future? What would be the best kind of fit for the e-learning e-learning professionals like us?
Right. So my recommendation would be, if you have uh, if you are well in instruction designing, then uh, try to ask your manager and move into the graphic designing or rapid authoring tools. And your end target should be project management. So that is the area where you can grow. Whereas if you are stuck with instruction designing, your growth is also bonded, means you cannot go beyond after certain limits. So project management is the area where you should try to focus on, and before getting into the project management you should get an experience in all the departments. So just try for other areas in the same company. I'm not saying to leave the company, but in the same company just get an exposure of different department and then focus on project management.
Okay. So would you suggest PMP certification for that, or any other valid industry standard certification as such for project management roles?
E-learning is not so complicated that you need a very high qualified certificate, because I am no, I don't have any certificate, but I'm a very good project manager. At least I feel that. Uh,
Okay.
so until and unless if you're working on a very complicated thing, then you need a certificate. But if you want to add in your profile that you have done a PMP certificate, then just go for it. It's not waste. It will always be useful. But even without PMP, you can get into the project management until you have that skills. If you don't have that management skill, then definitely you need to go for PMP certification.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. One final question, sir. Like how to show to the clients and the potential employers. Like your portfolio. Like I want to ask about the portfolio. So, is it good advice to have a personal portfolio for you yourself, like showing your courses that you have designed, and similarly, how to show the project management skills like that you have done. For a course to be designed, we can put on a server and show it to the employers or the clients. But for the project management skills, like how to portray ourselves.
Uh, there is a conflict here. If you start posting your profile on a different server, then possibly your manager or your company owner, he may find it odd because they don't want to generate a competitor within the company. So doing that can bring a problem to your job. So don't do that. Instead of that, you can take some soft skills courses like communication courses and other soft skills thing, and you try to interact with your seniors like project manager and show them or demonstrate them that you are good in certain role, and you want to take risk, or you can ask them to give a small project, and you want to manage that. So that's how you can demonstrate your skills to them. But having a separate portfolio outside the company can bring a problem to you.
Okay, okay, got it. All right. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Mr. Amjad,
I
I
have
see there are people are putting on
sure
the chat also.
sure by I could see
Uh,
some questions in
on
the
the
chat
chat window
window.
also there are a lot of questions. So please have a look and try to answer them.
Sure, I will just quickly read out the question from Mr. Saad Siddiqui. The question is, how can a person who have classroom teaching background and want to move towards e-learning and wants to teach by working from home, so he can start using e-learning platform. This If somebody who is already having a classroom based teaching experience, then they have a very good opportunity to become an entrepreneur very soon, because you have some websites like Udemy, Khan Academy. So here, what normally they do is, if you are expertise in certain skills, you can make your own videos and you can upload it over there. That way, you can start generating money for yourself. So that's one area where you can learn e-learning, how to design the e-learning, and start your own courses. So actually, you are an subject matter expert, so you can start putting your own courses. There is another question: what are the monetary sources that are available to become a startup? Did any bank support? This is a question from Mr. Syed Muzaffar. When I started I started the company, it's a zero investment company. So as I said, I made my own financial backup and then started working. When I got the first project, I didn't use the money for my personal benefit, but I added that money into the company. So that's how we rotated the thing. But to answer your question, whether they have any financial support, I think banks would be the right people who can answer your question. I have one more question from Mr. Habib. We all get to see negative politics from our senior. Is there any session conducted by CGC on positive leadership skills? Shoaib, this is for you.
Yes, yes, sure. We'll take that feedback. Thank you.
Okay. There is one question. Tell me about the website you told. So the two courses that we are offering, I will paste both the courses in the chat window so that you can copy the links.
So any
There is
further
another
question?
question.
Okay,
Yes, sure, but
fine,
there
fine.
is one question from Mr. Rayan. Uh, how to improve content writing? I want to start blogging and want a career in the same. How to make it career without leaving job? How to enroll for the courses you are offering? So for the second question, I have already shared the link, so it's a direct link, so you don't need to enroll. You can access them directly. For the first one, the first question, which is how to start blogging, as I said in my presentation, you need to have a very good command on English. So if you have a good command on English, then you can probably start writing some blogs. If you want, I can help you. I can review your blog and provide you some guidelines on what to do and what not to do. But if you're asking me if there is any particular training on how to write blogging, so I don't think there is any training, or maybe I need to just or you can just look up in the internet and see if there is any training. So if you want any personal help, if you write something, and then I'm always there to review and provide you the feedback.
Sir, on that note, I would like to, like, I'm definitely seeing you as a mentor, especially inside the e-learning industry. So I would definitely, it would be great if I can, get connected with you and get the valuable inputs. So I want to know how to get connected with you, how to get in touch with you, if you have any handles of social media that you can help us with.
Social media, no, but I have my Skype.
Okay,
Maybe I can create a separate Skype, because right now the Skype that I use is it's official. I have all the clients in that, so it will be a mix. So I can create another Skype and share it with Mr. Shoaib, and from him you can take the Skype ID.
all right. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So Shoaib, I think we are done. It's 4 o'clock and there are no further questions in the chat window.
Yes, yes, I think we are done. Thank you so much, Mr. Sayyid Amjad Ali. It was a very good
Thank
webinar.
you.
Thank you all the participants for being with us and being very interactive throughout the session. So going forward, also, if you have any queries, please reach out to Career Guidance Council team on this topic or any other feedback you have about the webinar. We'll connect with you with the Mr. Amjad Ali and any other professional in our network. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.